also watch your team die at the same time. Right, you really do, you really can see that happen, if your meeting attendance is down, your energy is down, something is off, right, and if it's a trend. Right, so I'm talking about if you're trending up or if you're trending down, like one meeting, we'll see tomorrow if this is normal or not. Like if we got less than 60 people on tomorrow night, I'm gonna be a little bit concerned, to be honest with you. Right, and guys, like the reality is like, you can make money without a team here, but you're broke every day. You wake up broke every single day if you don't have a team. Because you have to go out and make the sales. You have to go set the appointments. You have to go out and do the work. But
No, I was just like, I wonder how low my bank account is, and I got advanced twice more. So
dude, and it's, who was I talking to last night? Oh, Noah. I was texting Noah. So Noah is one of Andy's RVPs. He lives here, well, not here, but he lives in Riverview. He's Brandon, he's pretty close here. And we're both like couple thousand off of each other, like we're kind of racing for the second diamond, and we text each other every morning with what we made. He was the Air Force guy. I don't know how many of you guys know this story or not, but he texted me this morning and he's like, bro, I got advanced again. And I was like, yeah, that's normal, like you should get advanced every day. He's like, yeah, but I had chargebacks and I didn't submit any business. And I was like, okay, so like what are you saying? Because I was just trying to understand like where he was coming from. And he had a couple of people that owed him splits from other teams that he wasn't licensed in, that split him and he got paid off of that. Like you do enough of the right stuff, the money just starts coming. Right, I think I was talking to Tori, she's taking her test right now, so we should have another license here in another 30 minutes or so, but I was talking with Tori yesterday and she was like, I really want people that just come to me, right? Like I want life insurance clients to just walk in and want to work with me. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, that happens by people knowing what you do. Right, and the only way they know what you do is by you getting in front of people, right? And the only way you get in front of people is by making phone calls. Right, you can send messages and stuff like that, but they're gonna leave you on red, right? And I know, like, I've talked with a couple of you guys about like, hey, I'm not comfortable on the phone yet, I've never done it, I never got trained on it, whatever it was. I will accept full responsibility for that maybe not happening. But at the end of the day, like, if you're out working from home, like, you need to be working from home. You need to be doing the things that you need to do. But the other thing I'll tell you too is like, again, the Joe Ward audio I was listening to this morning, he was like, you need to get around me. Like Joe Ward is telling these guys that you need to get around your coach and your leader. Like maybe you're not coming to the office, maybe you're not hopping on the office Zoom link that's open pretty much all day long to get direct training, but you're just there to be like, hey, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm paying attention. Right? You will be surprised how much you catch in the office versus at home on the couch. Right, on the couch at home or in the office, Brett, you catch a nap, right? In the office, if you're paying attention, you catch like little nuggets of how to set appointments and how to overcome objections. Like Ed has been setting up appointments like a madman over here because he's been up in the office almost every day. Tammy, same thing, was up here studying for her SIE and stuff like that, focused on getting her securities license, which is great, but she's in the office for 2 days and all of a sudden Tammy sets up like 4 appointments. Like that's a big deal. Like it's a big deal. And like if you think that you're gonna be able to work the way that you want to work at home versus in the office when you have the option. Like some of you all are not in Tampa, I get it. So like, okay, you got to work on, that's fine. You can build a big business from anywhere, but if you're not disciplined to do what you need to do at home, you need to be here. Like you need to be here. Oh, Dan, it's inconvenient. Great, good. Because convenience has got you where you're at right now and you're not super excited with your income level. Right? Like I'm just being real with you. Some of you in the room even have moved from different states to be here for Primerica, but yet we aren't in the office. That does not make any damn sense to me at all. I'm guilty of it too. Like I will work from home sometimes and I'm doing better at getting up here at least once a day, every day except for Sunday, because I need to be up here because I tell you I'm gonna be up here. Right, dude, like we're going on a $1 million run right now. I mean, we're calling it right now. We're almost at the second diamond. We're gonna have the million within 24 months, period. Like, and this is just like a wake up call to you that you're either gonna get on board or you're gonna get left behind. Right, and we're crushing, like guys, like Taylor and I were talking this morning on our walk, we're like, we're super proud of you guys right now, like what you all are doing. Like, I know I kick your ass a lot, that's because I love you. And I know I hold you guys to a really high standard and I'm on your ass about the docs every single day. And I've said this before, but listen, like I would not be riding you so hard if I didn't know there was something big inside of it. Right, and like, I wanted to take a minute, and Taylor and maybe Taylor can chime in too, but like, we're really proud of you guys, like, for showing up, like, you guys are crushing our base shop records, like, we'll probably break our base shop recruiting record again this month. We did it last month, we're gonna do it again this month, and we're gonna probably break our premium record, probably not this month, most likely next month. We definitely broke our licensing record this month, you just gotta get appointed, we broke our pass notice record, which that leads to licenses, but, we're crushing records after record after record, I feel like he's not doing anything. Like, I mean, does anybody else just feel like there's so much more that we could be doing?
Yes.
Like, that, isn't that crazy? Like, dude, we're in the top 50 of base shops in the country, back-to-back months, we've been in the top 100 the last 3 months in the country. And I'm
That's
like,
all you guys, by the way, that's
Yeah.
base shop, that's all. you
yeah, base
guys.
shop, not personal,
That's what's incredible to me,
yeah, and
is like,
we're just trying to lead from the front, so you guys can't be like, hey, I'm outworking you, like, no, I'm trying to work my ass off in personal, so you guys can see what it looks like as a good example. But our base shop numbers, like outside of me, are still very high. Like, we're doing awesome, and that's like, you guys are doing awesome, and I'm not trying to, by any means, like, make you guys feel bad, I'm just telling you right now that if we wanna do this, if we wanna put together a big run. And if we want the company to be like, dude, there's something special over here, this team is doing something big, it will require more than what we're doing for them. And if you're like, hey, I'm good with where I'm at, great, you keep doing what you're doing, we're gonna take it to another level. And you can just be a part of that environment, that's totally fine, like, this is not a beat you up call at all, like, please don't hear that, this is not a, not trying to kick your butt in this meeting whatsoever. But if you feel like I'm kicking your butt, maybe we're not, because we're not performing where we know we can. Right, because I know like in sports, like, or even at the gym, like, or if I jump on the scale and I'm like, damn, like, I'm a little heavy, like, I'm like, okay, well, I've been eating bad, right, I've been not hitting the gym, I've been not hitting my workouts like I should be. Anybody else ever feel like that, where you like expect to not backslide, but then you kind of look back, you're like, okay, like, yeah, I haven't been sleeping in, like, okay, I haven't been eating great, okay, yeah, you're right, like, okay, this makes sense. And I'm just trying to be your wake up call real quick before you backslide a little bit while everybody else gets better. Because the hardest part is when somebody's growing and they're doing everything that they need to do and maybe a little bit more, right? Art Williams said, what's the difference between a $500,000 person and a $50,000 person? What's the difference? They do what they need to and what? A little bit more. Right? They sacrifice and a little bit more. And that's what I'm calling that out of you guys today, like that little bit more, like, what is that little bit more that you're leaving on the table right now? What is the difference that you could add to the team? That maybe you're like, well, Dan, this really isn't that big of a deal, but it is. Right? Is it you being up in the office making some calls? Is it you setting your 5 appointments every day, no matter what? Is it prospecting? Is it building an in-person office? Is it being in Indiana or Massachusetts or Michigan or Pennsylvania, wherever you are, and building a team there and getting your team to your house for meetings, right? Like, what is that little bit more that you can do that will take your team to another level?
such a good idea.
Right? Because guys, like, you understand, like, what I'm trying to do with you guys is get you guys to build a big base shop live. So you can go to RVP and promote RVPs, right? I've talked about this a couple of times. Art Williams talks about the business, and then he said the business is built for regional vice presidents to get financially independent. Not for reps, not for district reps, not for district leaders, not for regional leaders, for regional vice presidents to become financially independent. Now, that doesn't mean you can't become financially independent as a district leader. If you do your right things with your money and you make enough money and stuff like that, absolutely. But as a regional vice president, like, you're making 2 or 3 times the amount on the sales. You pay your bills, you invest, you do the right thing, you change your life forever. And I just don't understand why maybe we're just messing around with that if we want to do something bigger, right? So guys, like, I really believe that we're on a great track. I believe we're doing everything we need to be doing right now, but I just want to ask you, are you satisfied with where you are at right now? Are you satisfied with your personal production?
Nope.
Are you satisfied with your team production? Are you satisfied with your cash flow? And if the answer is no, and I'm gonna guess that the answer is no for all of us in the room, myself included, well, then we gotta take it up a level. Right? We have to get better. This is not a business where you can just go and apply somewhere else and make a little bit more money in Primerica. Right? Sure, you go down the street to State Farm right now and you go get a job, make $20 an hour. With the same license, but you're capped. You can't grow beyond that. That's not a benefit to you. And I'm being honest with you. This business, the first 50 grand we made was hard. I remember for 5 nights in a row, we're about to hit the, like, Tammy, we're like $500 away, I closed like 4 grand in premium. Literally, we started like not celebrating, but I was like, we got it, like tonight, we're gonna hit 50,000 chargeback, 5 grand in chargebacks in one night. I was like, son of a bitch. The next day closed 3,000 in premium. I was like, all right, that's enough to pay off the chargebacks and make our $600 or $500, whatever it was. Add $2,000 more in chargebacks, so we made up a little bit of ground. But and guys, we're senior regional leaders at this point. We're not even RVPs yet. We're 4 months in the business, and we're like, I'm like, damn it! Like I was getting so pissed. The third night that I didn't close anything, got another 1,000 in chargebacks. I was like,
We
what
didn't
is
have a
going on?
manager.
We didn't have an office manager. We didn't have, I love Andy, and he might, maybe you'll see this later, I don't know, but we didn't really have an RVP that paid a whole lot of attention to QBI and chargebacks and like the back end of the office, right? And so, and I'm so new, like Jenny, you were talking the other day, like I don't know, like some of the back end stuff, like how to keep business from falling off, and it's like, we were in the same boat. And we're getting, like, in a week, we got like 10 grand in chargebacks, and I like, how do we get 10 grand in chargebacks? What do we have to do first?
Right business.
Yeah, thank you. Right, 10,000 in premium. You can't get a chargeback if you never write business. So some of y'all are afraid of a ghost that can't possibly exist because we don't write business. Like Tammy, like I'm not gonna get chargeback. Yeah, you're damn right. You're never gonna get a paycheck either. Because you have to write business to get a chargeback. But like, and we're joking about it, but the reality is like if you're doing what you need to do consistently, it's a business, right? And so I wanna talk about that for a second because sometimes some of you guys are brand new, you're like, what's a chargeback? How many of you, raise your hand on Zoom or in the room. If you've ever purchased something on Amazon, raise your hand real quick. Let's just see, everybody in the room has bought something on Amazon and everybody on Zoom. Okay, have you ever, raise your hand again if you've ever returned something to Amazon? Okay, so do you know what happens when you return that product to the wholesaler? The wholesaler gets a chargeback to their account. Because you returned the item that you purchased. They got paid. Amazon did not officially sell the product because it got returned to them, right? So now Amazon charged that vendor back whatever the profit was. Does that make sense? With my gym, we sold a bunch of memberships, and then heading into COVID, not only did we lose, I've never shared this, I don't even think with my mom, Taylor knows this, but we not only did we lose 50% of our membership in 3 weeks, but we had a bunch of people that went to their bank and canceled through the bank and said that they never signed up in the first place. And so because they were losing their jobs, so they charged us back up to 6 months of income. So now not only did we lose income, money coming in, but we got hit with a big chargeback coming from the bank. Every business has chargebacks, and so if you're like, well, Dan, I'm not gonna write life insurance because I just don't want to get a chargeback. That's stupid. That's dumb. Every business, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna call it what it is, because that is dumb thinking. Right? If it was smart, I would tell you. This is not. Every business will charge you back. Every business. I worked at the tire shop. If somebody would bring back dead tires, and because for whatever reason, the tires weren't good, that happened twice while I worked there. We had to exchange tires for brand new tires. We just put them on within a day. They came back for whatever reason, they were really wobbly. We had to swap out the tires. Guess what happened? Chargeback. And maybe not necessarily a negative on the account, but we had to give them another set of tires. Who had to eat the cost? The owner of the tire shop. If you're a business owner, you have chargebacks. It's inevitable. I don't care what business.
They're not afraid of those chargebacks and they still pay their people
Yeah.
hourly because they make
Yes.
so much money.
Exactly.
Like,
Guys, if you're constantly selling product on Amazon through your POL account with Turbo apps, guess what? You're constantly getting paid. When you're constantly getting paid, you will have chargebacks, but you will have business that outpaces the chargebacks. If you're doing, if you're building a business and you're writing solid business, you should be somewhere between 75 and 85%, which is what's capped. Which means somewhere between 15 and 25% is gonna fall off. So if I was gonna write on the board, but I'm not gonna try to find a marker, but if I write 10,000 in sales, if I'm good, I'm gonna have 8,500 in income. If I'm not so good, I'm gonna have 7,500, maybe 7,000 if I'm super new. Right, like Jenna's QBI right now is 85%. What's yours? Do you know? 85.5%. What's yours? 77. Ours is 64. Like, and it's just because we were down at 55 at one point. And so we've turned the ship. It's really hard to turn the ship when it's a bigger ship. Right, so get the systems in place now while you're building, learn how to communicate with your clients and get them to keep stuff. And not in a shady way, but just get the tie down. So I was talking to you guys about that last time. Hey, 17 months, we're gonna keep this. But guys, like, I'm telling you guys about this because it's important. This is not necessarily like a rah-rah conversation, but it's real. Like, you need to understand that this stuff exists and we can't hide from it, because if we hide from it, we're never gonna get paid. We're never gonna make money. We're never gonna get to where we want to go. Right, so we have to make sure that we're writing good quality business, and don't be afraid of the chargeback. Is that helpful? Does anybody have any questions about any of that stuff? I know that was a little bit all over the place, but
QBI.
quality of business index, so it's your persistency. I'll share my whiteboard really quick. Actually, no, I'll just show you. I'll share my screen, hang on 1 second. So it's your persistency times your take-in rate. Okay, so what that means. You guys are gonna learn that I actually know something about the business right now. You guys think I just talk about recruiting and licensing all the time? And premium. All right, so,
I don't have any objections.
well, 17-month detail. Okay. Woo, for a 3-month persistence, the average is 82.5.
Hey.
All right.
Let's-
Mine's a.
Congratulations.
Eat my dust thing.
All right, so let's talk about this one first. It is here, hang on, maybe not. Do you all have this pulled up on your phone or something too? Can you guys see this? In the room? Yeah. Okay, so this is your take-in rate, okay? So what your take-in rate is, it means that I write a policy on Ed, it issues, and then Ed views and keeps this policy. Does that make sense? So last month we wrote, so really you have about a 4-month lag period. The first month, it should be nearly 100%. Like last month, we're at 95%. Because a lot of things issued, a couple people called the company and said they didn't want the policy rather than talk to me. It is what it is. But I want you guys to look at the difference. Look at the submitted life apps. Look at how big of a jump we had last month. That's a big deal. There was a lot of little ones in there, but we went from 27 to 50. You get into a good market and you keep submitting that much business, dude, that's maybe not $100,000 base shot, it's probably $70,000 base shot. But so the NTOs, so if you look at the very top, March or May, what is it, April, sorry, I don't know my numbers, April of last year. So April of last year, we submitted 20 and 6.75 of them did not take. So our take-in rate was 67%. Right, so now if we slide over to persistency, we placed 22 of them, which means that we put it in force. So that's what was placed. So the number, back up really quick. So your submitted is 20.25 submitted. These are ones that were not taken. They were either declined or they said they didn't want it before it was accepted. During April of last year, we placed 22.5, which means from the months prior, we placed a couple also, plus some of those ones in April. We put 22 of them in force, and 6.75% of them lapsed, which means over the 17 months of them being, so from this line right here, all the way up to this line, 6.75% of them have dropped off. They canceled. Does that make sense? So to figure out your QBI, you do 0.67 times 0.7. Right, so this month's QBI was trash, like 50%. Okay, not great. The next one down, so let's find a better one. What is a good one? So 86. So we only wrote 13 apps. You guys think I'm kidding when I told you we were struggling last year, August to November. Look at that. 13, 13, 18, 11. You can literally see in the numbers a decision being made, right? Go from 11 to 19 submitted. That's a big difference. Right, 19 to 23, we've never done, what the heck, in June, we did 12, we still did a lot of premium in June, that's weird. Anyway, but so let's look at this one right here, so let's look at, right here, let's just look at last month, for instance, so. This number I would anticipate to go up a little bit more, we'll probably have a couple more NTOs in there, but we had 50.25 policies last month. Okay, so 50.25 minus 2.50 or however you figure out that number, it's 95%. So 95% of our policies were taken so far. That number will fluctuate a little bit, it'll probably go down a little bit. But placed last month, we placed 17. And look at how many lapsed policies we've had. 0. So our QBI is 95 last month. That's amazing. Out of 50, so let's think about this for a second. If you're a regional vice president as a at a $50,000 base shop with a 95% QBI, 50,000 times 0.2 is 10,000 times 0.95 is $9,500. That is your non-charge backable bonus to start the month if you have a 95 QBI. I'm not going to tell you not to shoot for a 95 QBI because it's definitely possible, but if you're going to try to build a business and field train people and you have new agents out there writing business, they're not going to be as good as you. So your QBI will be a little bit lower. Like 80% is really a good solid, like that's a good QBI if you're really building. 80. And when you promote out an RVP, your QBI usually drops. So like when Cassie's stuff pulled from our system, we went from a 66 to a 64. So we dropped. Why? Because generally when you get promoted to RVP, your QBI has to be better than 70. So you're usually pulling out good numbers out of a QBI to get from, or out of your QBI to get promoted, because all her stuff leaves the base shop, right? That's why you take a promotion exchange, because she takes all of her stuff with her. We lose all of that. Then Jenna's stuff replaces that stuff from Cassie, and now it's all Jenna's stuff is in our base shop. Does that make sense? But Cassie has more volume than Jenna because she's been around longer. She has other people outside of just Jenna. That's kind of how the system is built. That's why it's there. So does this make sense?
Yeah,
You open up a can of worms of things that I hate talking about, but I know what I'm talking
it's just, I feel like if we're gonna be throwing out, you know. Like, acronyms. Like,
about. Yeah.
We have to break.
Yeah,
it
so
down.
QBI is quality of business index. That's what it stands for. So it's your quality of business index, and it's a 17-month detail of non-taken policies versus lapsed policies. That's all. So it's your percentage of policies that you write getting accepted, and then a percentage of your accepted policies sticking for 17 months. Make sense? Cool. Before I throw up, I'm gonna stop talking about that. Anybody else have any questions about any of that stuff? If you're licensed and you have any questions about what I just went over, hit the raise hand button, or you all here can ask. You are not licensed. I do not want to answer your question right now. You need to get licensed first. All right, sweet. Cool. So I'm gonna talk about the A diagram really quick. Okay, we're gonna go over this again. Actually, wait, before that. So one of the things we were talking about, Taylor and I were looking at the leaderboards this morning. So there are 5 or 6 people on our team right now that are really just a couple of licensed agents and then playing at your level away from qualifying for the Hawaii trip. And I can tell you that there's a lot of people in Primerica that will look at the scoreboard and they'll be like, oh, we're good, like we qualified, we're just gonna coast to the end. Now, I'll be honest, the new life license category is probably the most competitive category because they only take 10 people. Okay, so they only take 10. So you gotta work your ass off until the last day. Right, you gotta work your booty off until literally the last day of the month. And even up through the up until the month production changes over in December, they will accept pass notices up until like the 8th or whatever it is of November, of December, excuse me, after month ends in November. So you got to be thinking right now, if you're like, damn, I'm winning that damn trip. Okay, cool. You got to get to work for the next 60 days. Like if you think you're going to win the trip for the next 60 days, none of you are in a qualifying spot right now. Taylor and I could probably coast for the next 60 days and still win, but not go in like a place that I want to go in. So you have my word that we're going to bust our butt to get in the top 25. That would be huge for us because we finished at 160 in the last one. So it'd be a big jump in a contest, but we're not going by ourselves. And so this is what I want to tell you guys. I'm open to doing for you. So you guys can focus on the things that you're good at, which is recruiting and getting your people licensed and getting them recruiting. So what I want to propose to you all that are trying to win the trip, if you're not trying to win the trip, keep doing your thing. But if you want to try to win the trip, let me run your kitchen tables for you, and then you hop on to fill out the life apps and you watch, like jump on and watch. But like, let me run, you all know how to recruit people. Like, you don't like, I'm just going to be honest with you. My time is going to be better spent getting you paid than getting you a new recruit because you can do that yourself. Make sense? Like most of y'all can do that by yourself. put me on all your kitchen tables, sit on the appointments, watch me close 2 or 3, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, so all the light bulbs are gonna go off, like, that's what I'm missing, I got it. And then you'll be able to go do it by yourself. But I think a lot of times what happens is we get into this rut of like, okay. I'm licensed, like, I'm not gonna have Dan do this, or I'm not gonna ask for help because I don't wanna take a split. First of all, I'm not gonna make you split me right now.
Right.
Like, we wanna get you paid,
Right.
we wanna get you production, we want you to win the trip, we want you to qualify at your level. Put your KTs on my calendar, but if you are not on that KT, you are gonna get split. I'm not illegally writing business. Okay, so I'm not gonna like write 100% of that life app through you if you're not on the phone. It's not happening. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're there, but. What that'll do is it takes a little bit of the pressure off of you of like, okay, I gotta train these people on how to go out and write business right now, but I'm not 100% sure how to do it yet. Cool, let me write it, let me run it for you, I'll override it, I don't care, that's fine. You're gonna get paid in production credit for it. But what that's gonna allow you to do is focus on licensing your people and recruiting people, because that licenses are 30,000 points. A recruit is 1,000, and a life app is $1 per point, or a point per dollar. So $1,000 app is 1,000 points. So you could go 15 by 15 and license no one. Or you can go 15 by 15 and license 5 of those people. That's a really high licensing percentage, but let's say you license 3, that'd be 20%. That's 90,000 more points on top of the 30,000 you're getting for going 15 by 15. Make sense?
Mhm.
So, and if you don't have to run all those kitchen tables, you're just kind of on the call, even just with your camera off, just listening. And we can, introduce you at first and say, hey, this is Ed, Ed's one of the agents also I'm training, he's gonna be listening in. And he might help out with some paperwork towards the end. That's not normal thing, like you understand that, right? Like you go to the doctor, your doctor isn't the one in there asking all the questions before. Your doctor is also not the one that comes back in at the end and says, okay, well, this is what we're doing here. Your doctor is the one that answers that, they do all the work. And then the PA comes in, the physician's assistant comes in, and they do all the paperwork. Right? And I'm not trying to tell you that, like, I'm not by any means trying to say that I'm better than you or not. I just know that I can close life insurance and y'all want to get paid. So like, let me do what I'm good at doing. Like, put me in front and you'll get paid 100% of your commission for it. So now all you gotta focus on is set kitchen tables, set appointments. Get your people in the field and don't hold yourself back, and worse than holding yourself back is holding your people back. Don't hold your people back because you're not confident in running kitchen table appointments. Get them to set kitchen tables with me or with Cass and let us help you. Let us run the appointments, let us get you paid. And then you go but if we're doing that though, I need you to commit to me that you're gonna get 20% of your people licensed or better over the next 60 days. Because you have October to go and recruit the planet and get 20% of those, like from now until if we're talking about the Hawaii trip, from now until the end of October, if you go out, you recruit 20, 30, 40 people on your team. And you get half of them licensed and you're newly life licensed, I can virtually guarantee you, I don't care where you're at in the contest. You're gonna be real close to winning, if not winning. You go get 15, 20 licenses in the next 2 months. Don't think you can't do it. You definitely can, 100% you can. It's just about talking to enough people and getting out there in front of people. So, if y'all want to take me up on that, you can. You have my calendar. Put your things on my calendar. Talk to your people. Like, hey, Dan's gonna help with field training. Like, I want you to get on there. Cassie's gonna help you with field training. Set the appointments on their calendar and like get that moving. If you want, if you don't want to, that's fine. I'm not gonna make you do that. But I know that I can help you make a little bit of money and get the ball rolling in the same process. And I'm telling you, you see 2 or 3 kitchen tables, you're like, okay, I see what I'm missing. Like now you'll be able to go and do it yourself. So fair? Any questions on that, guys? Zoom people, we good? Carlos fired up. She's like, I like it. All right, cool. Sweet. All right, last thing. The last thing I wanted to talk to you all about is getting your new people in the field. Right. So, and I don't have anything I'm going to teach about on this. I want you guys to ask questions, Zoom people and live people. Where are you struggling on appointment setting with your new people? Most of y'all know how to set up your own appointments. And if you're like, this is your first training call and you're like, Dan, I need help setting up appointments, just get with your field trainer. Okay, like don't raise your hand right now and be like, what do I say? Like talk to your field trainer. Like I'm talking specifically to those of you that have 1 recruit or more on your team right now. How can I help you get your team moving? how can I help you understand what to say or what to talk to your team about? So if y'all have a question, hit the raise hand button if you're on Zoom. And if you're not in here, you can just yell it at me. Everybody's 15 by 15, awesome. Harley, what's up?
I'm struggling getting my recruits to.
No.
Yeah, text me back.
Yeah, that's
A
people.
lot of mine are just falling off the face of the planet.
We're
Yeah.
gonna repeat what she told us.
So did you guys hear what Harley said? No, okay, she said that she's having trouble getting her people to call her back. Or answer their phone, right? Is that basically what you're saying? It's like, what is your question? Like, how do you get them to answer?
Yeah, so mine is starting out, cause I have to start out with even getting my people to stay in touch with me and text me back, call me back, so we can get to the point where we can schedule up a couple.
Yeah, so,
I'm stuck.
yep, so first off, first thing I would say, this is for everybody. You don't have enough people, because if you gotta chase them around, they're gonna run from you, right? I recruit a bunch of people and look for the ones that come to me.
Yep.
Like, I've never had to like. Force the people that are winning to win. They win by themselves. I can just help them win faster. Make sense? Like, Andy never had to like call me and be like, Dan, would you please come to training? Like, would you please call me back? Would you please set up an appointment? Would you please schedule your exam? Like, he never had to like, it was never, did he ever, I was on the phone, I would text him at 5 AM when I got up to go to the gym. I'd be texting him at 11 PM going to bed every day.
Listen, Harley's got like a giant heart and I know where you're coming from. You want them to win so badly. So bad. You want them to win more than they want themselves to win.
Yeah.
And that is such a problem. And
I will kill you.
it will. It's something that you gotta grow from. Like, you're not being selfish by finding new people and letting whoever you want to win fall to the side. Like, it's not, you've done everything that you can, like,
Yeah.
you
And
can't
you
rely.
have a lot of
on
your
them
like
on
family
this.
in the business right now, which is good. That's awesome, because you did, you like did the hot market thing, that's what you should do, great job. But the reality is, unfortunately, most of the time, your family is a good people to start with, but let's be honest, they're gonna probably quit. Like they put a lot of other things in the past too, and I'm not trying to be mean, it's reality. Right, like I feel like I speak for pretty much everybody on this call where we don't really have a whole lot of family members that are very successful in business. I'm not saying they're not successful and impactful in other places, but just like from a business standpoint, like they've never really built much. Right, and if you have a family member that has, go ask them, was it lonely while you were building it, while you were starting?
Oh, what a question to ask them.
Dude,
Bring
you're
the
gonna be,
tears.
you're gonna feel like you're on an island, like, I'll just be honest with you, like, and that might not be the answer that you want, but if you're really trying to build something big here, like. You're gonna be alone for a little while.
Besides
Right?
us,
Yeah, like you're like your team down, like you're gonna be alone below you for a little while because you just aren't the person that you necessarily need to be right away. I could not get a coach to stick at the gym for longer than like 3 months for like 4 years. I didn't know why. And then I just started working on myself, my leadership skills. I started reading books about leadership and personal growth and stuff like that. And I started realizing like, oh, I'm probably the one that's chasing them off. I'm not saying you're chasing people off. But I'm just saying, if you get better with people, they'll want to be around, like, you guys want to generally be around Taylor and I, maybe I piss you off sometimes, but it's not because I don't love you. Because I'm telling you what you need to hear sometimes, and that's not fun all. Right, but I think hopefully you all would agree that if you call me, like, I'll support you, I'll do whatever I can to help you. But I'm never gonna be the person that's like, oh, you're doing great. And you're 0-0, like, no, you're not doing great, like, that's not. Right, like, I'm just being honest, like, I wouldn't be, that's not helpful. Right, like, lying to you is not helpful, because you also, like, your people know that they're not doing the right thing. So when you're like, you're doing great, they're like, you're a liar, like, you're not. Right, it is what it is, like, if you're any sort, if you're a high achiever in any capacity. And you're playing below where you can, when somebody's like, you're doing great, you're like, no, I'm not. Like, thank you, but no, I'm not. Like, that would, for like in November of last year, like people were telling us, you guys are crushing people. No, we are not, we're gonna freaking crush right now, like, this sucks. Thank you, but this is horrible. Right, so, but it's just a matter of like you, so the full circle back though, you just need more people. Like you just need more people to talk. At the end of the day, you don't have enough people. And really like that magic number is 10 on Zoom. I would say that if you have 10 in-person recruits, like 10 live living in Tampa have walked into the office people, that's great. Right? If you don't, if it's on Zoom, it needs to be closer to 15 or 20 people. That's really where you start to get some stickability in your business. Because you can start to give them some people like, hey, Harley, this is Jenna. Like you can start introducing people to each other and they build friendships outside of you. So I don't have to be there all the time, but you all still come up to the office because you want to be around each other.
Talking about that, where's that?
Great question.
Yeah.
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 Friends,
All
I
right.
thought so too, she's awesome.
All right, Jill Pangborn,
She still can be,
are you there?
code is still
I was
existing.
gonna add to that too, like, use your.
Yeah, I'm here.
If you're very new right now, so use your upline, I mean, you guys, yeah, so like, ask them to call them, especially if they're like your family and friend,
I
like.
do.
They might not
Honestly,
say
her
yes.
sister especially, obviously, she texts
Yeah.
me every day.
And we'll help as much as we can, but to the same token though, like, we can't, if we have to chase them too, like now they got 2 or 3 people chasing, it's like a herd of zombies running out.
It's
They're
so
hard to
hard.
kill. So, there's just a balancing act. All right, well, Jill, what's your question?
Most of the people that I know are older people who are already set in everything that they need. And the younger people I talk to are not interested because they're still young.
They're not interested in what?
In working for themselves, they just graduated from college and they're looking for a career in what they
So
majored in.
I would guess, I'm not trying to cut you off, but my guess here would be that you're probably saying too much when you're trying to talk to them and get them to set up an appointment. If just based on what you're saying, like, they're not interested, they're all set financially, like, you're not on the script somewhere. Because I almost never have somebody tell me like I'm not interested. I almost never have somebody tell me like, oh, I'm all, like, especially if I'm setting up a kitchen table appointment. Like almost never are they like, oh no, I'm all set. Because I'm not like, hey, I want you to, I'm doing life insurance, like, can I sell you life insurance? I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but that's probably the feeling that they're getting. So I would just go back and listen to the Ian Bruckner recruiting, or not recruiting, excuse me. The Ian Bruckner appointment setting audio for the boot camp and write it out word for word. And just make sure you're on the script. That would be my guess.
Okay.
And try that and see if that works. The other thing is, again, you're just not talking to enough people. That's really like, I'm probably gonna end up saying the same answer 1,000 times with your questions. But the reality is, like, at the end of the day, like, we're like, there are people on this call right now that can hear my voice. That like, I got this one guy who's gonna close for 3 months. Like, bro, like, go find other people. And then that one guy will want to, and if they don't, God bless them, who cares, because you got 30 others. So you just need more people, like, again, that's probably not exactly the answer that you want to, practice the appointment setting script, get with Angie, practice the script. Call me and try to set an appointment and practice the script and watch, like, I would be willing to bet that you're off on the script somewhere, based on what you're asking, that's a good question. If we fix the script and then we're still getting the same results, now we can talk about what might be happening there. But 95% of all of your problems, all of you all, everyone on the call, is you're not talking to enough people, and when you do, you're saying the wrong things. So fair? Okay, that's my problem. Want them to win so bad. Yes, senior healthcare, go away, Josh. I have quite a few that say they'll help me out.
For her, for the older demographic.
Oh, I thought Josh was asking about senior.
No, he
Okay,
was just
so
telling
yeah,
her.
senior healthcare is another good one too.
Yes.
Go in.
Hey, so, but you need to be senior health certified, right? So you need to go through that. It's under products on PLL, it's under products, the tab at the top, products, senior health certification, it's 20 minutes long. Get that done and refer people. You make good money doing that, $200. What's that?
Amber just asked a question.
But
Okay,
also,
let me-
but also to Jill with the older demographic, they most of them would have kids. And you can
Yeah,
always
it's-
like say, like, would you,
Yeah,
want me to
make
show
sure
you
you're-
what's happening in your kids?
Yeah, set up the appointment to show them what you're doing for referrals, like, so that way if you or anybody you know is interested. Not so you can buy life insurance from me, like, that is definitely not the script, right? I'm not saying you're saying that either. Michelle says, I have quite a few that say they'll help me out, no problem, but then you can't get them to actually do it, some just shut you down really quick, not interested at all.
Tell
And
about Hugo,
some,
tell about Hugo, the original message to Hugo.
and I will say, and some don't seem to like that, this is the only reason I reached out to them as well, to talk to them. So yeah, Michelle, again, probably the script here, it sounds like you're probably talking a little bit too much and too long. If you're just sitting here talking to somebody for 10 minutes and then you just like bam them at the end with, by the way, look at this. That's you're gonna feel good. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, but it's possible. And then how about those who push for more info before setting up an interview? I just felt like that's what the interview is for.
You didn't touch on the whole, the ghosting, the message.
Oh yeah, Hugo, you wanna tell everybody about
Which one the ghost?
You will help him.
It's just such a long story, but.
that? Tell the short version, you gotta talk loud because the mic's over here.
So 18 months, no, actually, now it's like 19 months ago, Dan reached out to me. Through Facebook and, you know, obviously I thought he was suspicious. I kind of ignored him. But then I went to his friends and I saw that he was friends with one of my really close friends, which is Ed Burgos, which he's here right now. So then I went to Ed and I was like, Ed, who is this guy? Dan Romai. And he's like, oh, that's yeah, I'm like, is this guy real? Like, he just wants me to post some random stuff on my story. So then Ed was like, oh yeah, that was my old trainer for CrossFit back in Philly. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll post. But then I just kind of ignored him for 18 months. So 18 months later, I go to a church that my wife and I want to join. And what do you know? He does exist. So anyways, but you know, now we're here.
That's such a god.
It's just, it's just to tell you like, hey, you know, they come around,
Yeah.
we come back around and then we, you know,
Yeah.
once you notice that it's legit and everything, and then he reached out again. So yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of the problem that you guys are running into right now is that you're so new in the in like the entrepreneurial world of like starting your own business, that a lot of people that you know are just gonna like wait and watch to see if you're actually gonna stick this thing out. Right? Like, are you really gonna stick this out? Are you really gonna be the person? Are you really gonna do this? Like, cause now like we're 2 months into the business and like literally like, I swear almost every day at this point, someone who I've messaged in the past or called in the past, is like, are you still doing this? I need life insurance. Can you look at my investments? Can you help me with this? Can you talk to my cousin? Like, but that didn't start happening until like, I mean, honestly, like maybe 90 days ago, like until we hit like the 2-month mark or the 2-year mark, excuse me. But you have to be willing to say, all right, well, for 2 years, like, I'm just gonna go figure it out. And like Jenna, we've talked a lot about this. She's like, I feel like I'm all by myself. Like, yeah, you're gonna be by yourself for a little while because you're not good, like, you're not a good enough leader to like really get solid people to stick yet. But that's also why you leverage me, you leverage the Tuesday night training, you leverage the system, the group chat. Like, if you leverage that stuff, you can, that's like the cheat code for you being able to come in here, be brand new and plug people in. Most of the people that I recruited when I was being trained by Andy quit, but not right away. A lot of them got trained by Andy, got licenses, did some money. I overrode that. Right? And now some of them quit. My mom's still here, Brad's still here, but even Brad was pretty much trained by me, not so much by Andy. Andy helped because I was still in the base shop. But like, just understand that like we're here to support you in any way that we can. But like, it's really hard to support somebody who's not doing any. Does that make sense? Like, there's nothing to support if there's nothing going on. Like, if you can't steer a parked car. And like, if I want to help you and you want help, cool, like get in the driver's seat, touch the gas, let's get this thing moving a little bit so he can help you steer a little bit. Because if there's no movement, it's really tough. Because at the end of the day, it's like you just got, like, you gotta sit down and like do that with your foot. Like, if you can do that, like I can help. But if you're not willing to set up an appointment, if you're not willing to prospect, if you're not willing to do a couple of those basic things, the basic fundamentals. Number one and number two, prospect and set appointments. If you're not willing to do, you could suck at Primerica and do just those two things. I've never had somebody come in the business that can't set appointments. Never, not once. Even with terrible credibility. Like, we had a girl that we wrote almost $40,000. We still have probably 30 active life insurance clients and a handful of investment clients from this one particular leg of business. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I grew up in the same environment of like straight up like trailer park alcohol, like tobacco, like smoking, chain smoking all day long. And I'm not trying to be negative. Please don't hear that the wrong way. But like, just really market that you would be like, probably don't want to go there with financial services. But we have some great clients that we've helped and we've built through that one person. Literally, she didn't have teeth. Like, her front teeth are missing. And I'm like, I'm not gonna judge a book by her cover. We're gonna throw her in the business. And she crushed it. But guess what? Her environment killed her. Because she didn't plug in, she stopped showing up to meetings, she stopped going to big events. She was like, I don't need this stuff, I don't need to go to the big events. And she quit, but guess what? All of her clients rolled up to me. Why? Because she quit, she called Primerica and removed her license from the system. She'd still be getting paid.
Shame for shame.
Not a lot, but she'd still be getting paid. And it's like, at the end of the day, guys, like you have a business that, like, the only thing stopping you from making money is you. The only thing stopping you from growing is you. All right, what's up, Abby? Last question.
So I feel like I can run appointments, but I keep just running into people that don't have the startup cost. And then I'm like doing follow-ups with them when they say they're going to have the money. But I just struggle with, like, I've asked them, you know, do you got a credit card, or like, you know, what is your situation? I have a lot of people interested as far as recruiting, but I just can't get the closure on it. And a lot of times it's not that they don't see the potential, but they just don't have the startup.
Are all of those people coming off of random posts on Facebook? You're muted.
I know a few personally, but yeah, most of mine that I'm recruiting are
Yeah.
coming off
So
of.
when you're in a cold market on Facebook, a lot of that, you're gonna get that more than when you're talking to good people. Like I'm just being honest, like when you're out prospecting and you're at the restaurant and you got a waitress that's killing it and you prospect her, like, it's almost never a money thing. Like when you're out talking to random people or you're networking at a BF, like you go to, again, BNI, I've told you guys this 1,000 times, networking groups, Chamber of Commerce, various places like this, freaking go to them. Why? Because those people have businesses. They need insurance, they need investments. They also own a business, and if you have a better business than them, they're not stupid. They'll at least entertain the idea or potentially be open to it. And money is not an issue with those. Abby, I owned a business, and when we started the business, when we started Primerica, we were 5 months behind our mortgage. With 2 kids, we had $275 in the bank account, and Taylor and I both signed an IBA on the same book. Heard one day and need the next.
I guess that's my problem, is I didn't have the money when I started either, but I was gonna find a way, and that's why, like,
So you're just trying to recruit, and again, I'm trying to say this nicely, but you're trying to recruit a Dollar General employee to a business.
I got
You're
you.
trying to hire somebody to a business versus give somebody an opportunity that sees value in the opportunity. And if we're playing around in the wrong market, that's why we're not seeing the results that we want to see. And when they look at, like, and again, this is like a after you bring them in thing. When you do finally recruit that stud, right? Or that person that could be a stud, and they come in and they see that you're never across Telegram posting anything, or that you're never setting appointments, that you never respond in Telegram, what does that tell them about you as a leader? And that can change today.
Yes.
Right, and Abby, I'm not saying anything against you particularly, but a lot, like, I have gone across that sometimes, like, dude, if I recruit somebody right now, like, I don't have anything on my calendar, like, that's not gonna be good. But when I recruit somebody and I then later recruit 2 or 3 more people and then close business and then close life insurance, and I just recruited them, they're like, dude, this dude is freaking working. Like, whatever he's doing, I wanna be a part of that. What's up, Josh?
Yo, everybody give Jaden Thompson a huge round of applause. He just passed his life exam. And I just got off the phone with him. Yeah, he just passed.
Hold on, wait, Josh, pause.
Go ahead.
Say that again.
Jaden Thompson is in the Zoom link with us. He just passed his life exam.
Let's
He
go.
just passed. Let's go, guys.
Oh. Awesome, awesome. Hey, we got a couple more codes coming out. We're gonna probably cross 20 licenses this month for the first time ever. That's a huge deal. Guys, as an RV, I'll leave you with this, as a regional vice president. If you get 30 licenses, every time you add 30 licenses to your team, that's $100,000 in income a year. Every time you bring on 30 licenses, right, 30 licensed agents, new license. Let's go. Tori passed her exam too. She just put it in the front.
Woo!
What's up? All right. Hey, and I know some of y'all, I've failed it a couple times. It is what it is. Dude, like, there's few of you on Zoom, like, I get it. It sucks. It's annoying. Everybody else is passing me like, damn, he's like, oh, maybe it's not for me. No, it is. Just keep going. Not everything's easy, right? It's worth it. I promise. Once you're done, you never gotta take it again. Now, you do have to do your stupid continuing education, but that's a difference. That's not hard.
You know, what will help you fight for that license is a high,
Yes, guys, look, hey, it's month end does not start Monday, it doesn't start, it starts today,
right,
right? It starts
Right.
today. We're gonna set 100 appointments through the base shop. How many appointments? What's your goal for your base shop today? Appointment set,
Today.
yes,
15.
15. All right, so if you're in Cassie's base shop, we're setting 15 today. If you're in our base shop, we're setting 100. I want you to go into your base shop chats. So Cassie's team going to the Phoenix chat, my team going to our chat. How many are you gonna personally be responsible for setting up? Whether you're field training for other people or not, that's fine. If I set up an appointment for Jenna, great, that's one, like I set it up, right? But if Jenna sets up the appointment, that's one for her. How many are you personally responsible for closing today? That's what I wanna know, guys. Have an amazing day. Zoom people, we love you. See you guys. Bye.